All right. First, let's go ahead and get started. I can introduce myself and then I'll let Allison introduce herself. She's new staff with us here at 9 Health 365. And then it looks like we have two guests, Hannah, and I'm sorry, I just see your email for the other person, but I would love both of you to introduce yourselves in just a second. So my name is Kristen Richmond. I know it says Adele Work on my screen here. That is my boss, and this is our account that we use for all of our Zooms. So I'm not Adele. My name is Kristen. I am in the volunteer engagement department as well as I've been working in the communications and marketing department recently. I have a background in that field, so we've been kind of in between marketing departments. So I've been filling in, and luckily we have Allison here, who's officially our new marketing coordinator. If you've been with us in the past, I'm sure you've heard Kat Lyon's name. So this Allison is the new Kat who can help you out with all of your communications needs, in addition to myself. So Allison, if you want to introduce yourself, that would be great.
Yeah, so I'm Allison. Like Kristen said, I'm about 3 weeks into working with 9 Health, so I'm still learning everything. But yeah, whatever you need, I'm here to help you with marketing and all that good stuff.
Yes, she's dived right into the thick of it, which is great. And Travis, thank you for adding your name on there. That's much appreciated. I'm terrible with names, so anything that can be done to help is wonderful. Hannah, would you like to introduce yourself, and then I'll have Travis speak.
Sure, I'm Hannah Reese. I'm the head of school at Colorado Early Colleges Aurora. So we're going to host our first health fair here at the end of September. I do what Karen Garcia tells me to because she's awesome, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, we're here to help, right? We're here to help. We're here to be a resource. So totally fine if you have you're like, I have no idea. Yeah, that's great. And that's actually perfect for me. So I can, because sometimes, when we have repeat sites and site leaders and all of that, some of my webinar can seem like redundant. So I always love when I can bring some fresh information to new folks. So welcome, Hannah. How about you, Travis?
Hi there. Yeah, I'm Travis Antitian. I'm with Commerce City, and we have been running our fair for quite some time now. We weren't sure if we were going to pull it off this year, but we just were able to kind of get things off the ground. Yeah, right before the deadline. So I just got an invite to this webinar from Edith last night, and I actually can't stay the whole time. I just thought I would try to pop in and join you guys and join the conversation for a little bit. So I might have to disappear here in a few minutes. But anyway, I thought I would just check it out and see what I could learn for a little while. So
wonderful, and welcome. Yes, we will definitely welcome your presence as long as we have it, and it is being recorded. So I will have Edith send out the recording once they've kind of polished it up a little bit and posted it to YouTube. So that will go out, so that way whatever you miss, or anyone else who's not on this webinar, they can catch themselves up and see all of the amazing resources that we have updated in our volunteer management system.
Great.
So first I should ask, I assume, Travis, you have been into our volunteer management system. Hannah, have you been able to get into our volunteer management system, look at any of the resources that we have in the resource library?
I've poked around a little bit.
Wonderful.
But we don't have our site code yet either, so that's still in progress and a little funky.
Yes, there's 4 of you that we're waiting for site codes, and hopefully they will come in ASAP, because it's kind of a rolling of delayed effects on a lot of things. So we are hoping right along with you that we can get that taken care of. Last night and this morning, I have been adding a bunch more updated resources to the resource library in the publicity tools section. So in there, everyone will find, updated letterhead, updated donation letter. I'm about to upload a new promotional materials release form. So that's for any like testimonials or photos you're getting of participants or volunteers, whether it's before the fair or after the fair. Making sure that they're signing that promotional release form is always helpful, making sure we can keep everything legal. But you'll find lots more in there, and we're going to touch on a little bit of those materials today in this webinar. So I'm going to share my screen. Allison, when I do that, I have no visibility on anyone in this little platform. So if you could keep an eye on if people have questions, if they raise their hand, just jump in and let me know, along with the chat, if anyone puts a chat in there. Okay, so all right, well, we're just gonna have to go with that. So like I said earlier, my name is Kristen Richmond. I know it says Reichert in there. Sometimes I forget what my married name is. It's very new. All righty, so the very first thing that I always love to point out to folks, and this is not something I've updated with the new branding and such, but really the information on our checklist that we have in the volunteer management resources, nothing's really going to change. They just have to update the branding. So, you know, if you're not familiar with it, it really does a good job of walking you through the basics of understanding how to set up your publicity, whether, you know, who your coordinator is, who your target audiences are, and these are that key community right over here on the left. So, you know, some folks, you know, some sites are in a church, so that's a really easy community for them to tap into, or, you know, some of these sites are at a school. But it's also important to really think about the demographic that you want to come to your fair, that has come to the fair in the past, but also maybe thinking about new demographics that we want to encourage new folks to come into, and new ways to find those folks. And we've run into a lot of that with our vaccination sites that we've been running since the spring. And, you know, we found a lot of luck with, or we found a lot of interest in getting into apartment buildings and getting in touch with like property managers and things like that, because typically, you know, and a lot of times folks who live in apartments aren't necessarily, they don't always have the same kind of access to different resources, money-wise, things like that. So making sure that we're thinking about who most could benefit from the services that we have at each 9 Health Fair. I mean, you know, not only are the screenings discounted, but we have the free health screenings, as well as really a lot of people get so excited about the flu shots, because if you're not familiar, if you don't have insurance, even if you go to a place that says, hey, free flu shots, everyone can come get a free flu shot, it's not true if they don't have insurance. If they don't have insurance, they're paying like $50 to get the flu vaccine every season. So the free flu shots are a really, really big pull for a lot of different community members, as well as, if folks aren't aware, we will have a few COVID-19 vaccines at the sites as well. They'll kind of bring it along with their flu vaccine. So we really want to make sure that folks understand the importance of getting vaccinated, both for the flu and for COVID, but not letting that outshine any of the screening and preventive messaging as well, I think is really important. On here as well, we have community calendars. I love getting
Hey, Kristen.
Yes.
We can only see the first page.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Hold on. The technology, you guys, not my friend. Hold on. Oh my God. I'm going to stop sharing. Thank you all for your patience. You're all wonderful. Mm-hmm. Aha, okay. I figured out where I went wrong. Okay, how about now? Is that looking good?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Allison, for pointing that out. I appreciate it. So yeah, so this is the area where I was talking about our key communities. And then here's just a little bit on the community calendars. It is important to remember that, you know, whether it's a newsletter or community calendar, a lot of times they push production at different points. So the sooner you can get in touch with community organizations and community members, the better. If you're not aware, I don't know if folks have like a communications or marketing background, but we typically think of 3 touch points as what it takes to reach the community, to reach a particular person in the audience. So, that can be, again, like the community calendars. Maybe you put something in your local publication, maybe you put it on social. We just want to be thinking of all different ways that we can disseminate the information into the community. And one of those really good resources are community calendars. So think of those resources that your community already uses and put your event on their calendar. Oftentimes you can just submit it virtually, or you can always call the organization as well. And this is just a little fact about, most folks do find a fair within 5 miles of their home. The fact the last couple of years, we've only had a few fairs because of COVID-19, this might be expanded, right? So if you're not finding a lot of luck right around your site, definitely feel free to expand that radius and get to more groups, get to more community organizations to really get the word out about your fair. There we go. Okay, so newsletters, I've mentioned a little bit. There's plenty of different organizations that have newsletters. 9Health 365 will tap into some of our partners to put general 9Health Fair information in those publications, but whatever your local communities have, maybe there's a local community newspaper or things like that, just be on the lookout for those. And I'm sure, your organization might have, a monthly email blast or something to your members or your community, however that works. So making sure we're getting some information in there. And if there's ever anything, we will have a press release on the in the volunteer management system for 2021. We should have that by the end of next week. So just keep on the lookout for that. But that's something that you can just simply submit to any of these publications. Or if you want to use that as a template and type something up yourself, then, if you want Allison and I to review it, I'm always happy to do that. So just know again that we are your resource, and we're happy to support, even if it's just in like an editing fashion. And down here, actually, I found this as I was Googling for you guys the other night, as I was preparing for this webinar. I didn't know this, maybe you all did, but different counties actually have registered neighborhood organizations. That's almost like in like a type of association, type of community group. So this is the link particularly for Denver County. I did Google, I did see one for Adams County. So if I were you, I would just search, your particular county and then search registered neighborhood organizations. The one on Denver County's website had an interactive map where you can see where they actually are. And Hannah, just so you know, some of them were like kind of right on the border of North Aurora. So I don't know if that's something too you can tap into, but I just wanted to, because there's so many different organizations all around, it's impossible to know where they all are, who they all are, and what they do. So I highly suggest you tap into this resource to really research those neighborhood organizations and get some new, fresh faces at our fairs. I think the whole community can agree that preventive health has never been more important, and supporting our immune systems has never been more important. So the more people we can reach out to, the better. And we will be helping with that as well. So press release and human interest stories. So like I said, we will have an updated press release for fall 2021 before the end of next week. And I will be sure to communicate that to the group when the press release is live on the website, because I know that is important to start sending out to publications. And when we're thinking, about human interest stories, whether it's, submitting to a publication like we were talking about, or a newsletter, or, maybe it's just like a social media post and you're doing a human interest story. Think about, your volunteers. Maybe, even if it's for a new site, thinking of the volunteers that you're recruiting, maybe it's, or your volunteer leadership team, think about things so we can interview folks or get photos to really put a face on the fairs and why it's so important. And in my opinion, I never get more passion than from volunteers. Volunteers to me are just the heart of what we do, and community members really identify with that, right? Because these fairs are by the community and for the community. Now, 9Health, we have different levels of engagement with each fair and helping plan it and put it on. But at the end of the day, it's your ideas and your time that's going into all of this. So if you can show the community that, and show the community your passion and why you're doing this, the key indicator on why, I think that will be a lot more powerful than most of the other tactics that you're going to use. So just keep that in mind, and feel free to filter that out in anything that you're doing. It's just that human interest piece of it, because that, I mean, that's never been more important, especially in the climate that we're in right now. And folks also just want to, you know, make sure that they're also being safe and things like that. So the more we can talk about our volunteers and the efforts that we're doing, the better. So in addition to some of the other materials, including like the letterhead and donation and things like that, we also have some practical materials for your teams to utilize. So these are live on Volunteer Management System, and I've indicated which ones they are. And for the flyers here, we do have a graphic form and a PDF form on the website. So you can either print it off and disseminate it that way, or you can, you know, share the graphic form on social media. So that way you can both recruit your volunteers and recruit your participants. Just so everyone knows, I will be creating, and I think this was talked about on the site leader orientation last week, I will be creating site-specific flyers for every single site. And I will be using the information from the fair management system where folks are putting in their steps. So obviously I won't be able to do all of that until I get some of the site numbers, because you guys haven't been able to update your steps since you don't have site numbers. But just so everyone's aware, I will be doing that. I have my email in several places, including on the website right below, where I will list those flyers. If folks just want to email me if they have specific requests of information, or you know, maybe you want a specific logo on there that I wouldn't automatically put. I'll also leave space at the bottom, so if folks are technologically savvy, they can add those logos in themselves. So just everyone knows that, and please feel free to ping me if I upload one and you're like, Kristen, this isn't quite right. I am human, I do make mistakes, and I love when they're pointed out to me seriously. So please just let me know, and I'm always happy to edit, update anything. So
Kristen, can I ask you really quick, what's the time frame look like on that? Only because for the city, we have our October city newsletter is a great opportunity to put in that ads. And a lot of times historically, we've actually kind of used your guys' branding, but created our own flyer. But I mean, it's new branding and a lot of new stuff this year. So I was just curious, when do you think those would be out to all the specific sites?
Yeah, great question, Travis. I have a plan to do that this week. So my hope is that they would be uploaded by Thursday night, because I'm taking an early vacation day for the Labor Day weekend. So my hope is to have them all uploaded to the website on Thursday evening. Because luckily for me, there's like awesome. 16 sites, so it shouldn't be too hard of a list.
Yeah, I guess there are pluses on your side, right, to not having as many.
Yes, 100% there are pluses, but I think.
And sorry, maybe this is, and I don't want to interrupt you. I was just so like in terms of, is it still okay to call it a 9 Health Fair, right? Because I know it's 9 Health 365 now. That's the organization name, but the event is still the 9 Health Fair.
That is correct, and thank you for bringing that up, because that is actually something I should address for both of you and for folks that are not on this webinar. Yes, so we see 9 Health 365 as the umbrella brand. And then we have a bunch of different services, right? So the health fairs, and then I don't know if you guys are aware, but we have a new digital service called 9 Health 365 Comprehensive. So we see 9 Health 365 as a major brand. So you can say, for instance, in a social media post, hey, 9 Health 365 is throwing a 9 Health fair near you. Or, you could just say, hey, there's a 9 Health fair near you. And just put the 9 Health 365 branding on there, and I think people get it. So yes, you're more than welcome to refer to your site as just a 9 Health Fair, just making sure you're not using it as that's still the name of the organization. That's just a specific site.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking. I really do appreciate that. And so with these fairs as well, we want to make sure that, last year we really had to hunker down and, put in a lot of safety requirements. So this year we still have safety requirements. We're still requiring, volunteers and participants and staff to wear masks. Obviously sanitation will still be in process, physical distancing as much as possible. But we want this fair season to really feel like a celebration of health. We've gotten through over a year of a pandemic, and people are tired, and people understand that health is important. People understand that prevention is important. But the more we can make the folks feel like it's fun to seek health information, and it's good to get in with your community and really celebrate the active preventive health and developing new health habits and 365 days of health and everyday health. And the more that we can put in these phrases and just that theme and the messaging of just celebrating your health this year, I think that's for the best. And just so you all know too, our theme this year, and you can kind of see it at the top of this participant flyer, is for the health of it, right? That is our theme for this fair season. Why do go to a 9 Health fair? For the health of it. Why check your blood pressure? For the health of it. Like, it's just important that folks know that, there's not a better reason than just for the health of it. Because if you're going to live healthy 365 days a year, then we have to care about our health. So making sure, again, that messaging is in there. We are suggesting heavily appointments, but I don't want anyone, unless your site has decided with our volunteer engagement staff that they want to require appointments, which I don't think any site has decided that. Making sure we're not putting appointment required, just strongly encouraging appointments. That way we can keep the flow down. So anytime you can put that messaging into your outreach, that's going to be helpful as well, just so we make sure to set that expectation. And in addition, you can always frame it as, if they register online, they aren't automatically going to have to make that appointment. It'll automatically prompt them to do that. But if they're registering online, that means they get the online dashboard. That means they get their results and they can track them. They can see them on a graph. So it's not just about, pushing appointments for the sake of pushing appointments. We're really wanting folks to take advantage of everything that they can do online on our system. And they're going to do that by registering online and consequently making an appointment. So however you want to frame that is definitely up to you, as long as we're encouraging folks to make those appointments. And in the middle here, you can see I have a social graphic for folks to use. We are planning for the Find a Fair to go live relatively soon. Again, we're just waiting on those 4 site numbers before we can officially push Find a Fair. That's kind of our last hitch. But we are planning to we're hoping to have that this week. And we're hoping to do a soft open of our online reg system, and the official open, where we will send out official announcement communication to all board members, volunteers, and past participants, is September 7th, which is a Tuesday, in exactly 1 week, I believe. So it's the day after the Labor Day weekend. So just so you all know, that is the day that we plan to announce that Find a Fair is live. And before that day, I will have a new graphic for you on the volunteer management system that says Find a Fair now open, online reg now open. You can go and drive your participants in your community to the Find a Fair. So post this one this week, and then I'll have a new one ready for you next week to start posting. Let's see. All right, so this is a little bit into, how and what should you post, right? On Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, because they're all slightly different. So definitely with Instagram, you want to make sure that it's just bite-sized, right? Whether it's a photo, whether it's the description, whether it's a video, we want to make sure everything is really bite-sized. Definitely we don't want like a 5+ minute video on Instagram. No one is going to watch that. So 30 seconds, little 7-second things, like anything where you can just gain a little excitement. And maybe it's like a weekly countdown, right? Like, think out of the box and how we can really gain excitement and anticipation for preventive health and for celebrating your health this fall. Because there will be like balloons at the fairs, and there's all sorts of fun colors, right? So, and giveaways. So the more we can do that, I think it'll just be more fun. Obviously the call to action in the first sentence, because, until you click the see more, they're not going to see the rest of your description. So making sure the most important information is right there at the beginning is crucial. And if it's even more important information, maybe you stick, a few words on the graphic, right? Just making sure we're thinking that out and how our audience is viewing it and perceiving your information. With Facebook and Instagram, post it to your story. That's there for 24 hours. If it's really important information, save it. So that way your folks can go back and look at it again, even after that 24 hours is up. And if you're trying to get to a younger audience, maybe you even go for TikTok. I don't know. It's really up to you guys, but these are the three major ones that I thought everyone would probably utilize, but definitely don't feel like these are the only things that you can do. Really think outside of the box and who you're trying to target. Because if you're getting at a college audience and you're wanting to get them, because there are a lot of Pfizer has 12 and up, so if we're wanting to get at some younger folks, now realizing that not yet are kids under the age of 18 allowed to do our lab screenings. We don't have that, but they have other free screenings they can do, right? So keeping that in mind and how different audiences can interact with our health fair and what they can do. Any links, of course, for Instagram, don't put them in the post, put them in the bio. You can always direct them to our Instagram or our Facebook as well. We have all those links there and ready to go, whether it's for recruitment or find a fair. And with all of these, like with Facebook, again, you can share like the flyers, again, post your story. And this is where you can put probably a little bit more detail, but still I would shy away from putting too much text on any of your posts. Finding ways to, write it out and make it more concise, more appealing. The call to action is clear, all of that. And, Twitter, you can definitely use. I find that it's less successful with really targeted communities and areas. But we're going to talk a little bit about hashtags. So we can definitely, there are ways that you can still target those communities, but Twitter is definitely more of just a general audience. So keeping that in mind with how you're setting up your outreach on social media is important. So hashtags, right? Different people use hashtags different ways. I have lots of opinions on hashtags, but granted, I have lots of opinions in all other aspects of the world too, so it's something new. But I have set up these these 5 things that you can think about as you're doing this. And maybe you already know this, maybe this is review, but I hope it's at least helpful to some folks. So the first step, you should definitely, if you have a hashtag in mind, search it, right? Because, I might think something is very clear in a phrase, but then, I search it and then this random group that in no way would I want to ever be associated with 9 Health, they're using that hashtag for something completely different, right? We don't want to get into any hot water. We don't want to do anything weird. So just search them. It takes, just a few seconds, making sure there's something weird happening with that particular hashtag. Also look through trending hashtags, right? And whether, it's on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, sometimes those different platforms each utilize different hashtags, or they're different trending hashtags, or just different trending topics. So making sure you're customizing it per platform and researching those hashtags that are working on that platform. And again, tag your community, right? So a lot of the different communities you'll see, and you can look up how many people are using it. But oftentimes I'll do Westminster, for example, on this slide, Westminster, Colorado, Westminster, CO, right? So there's different ways you can do it to making sure we're tagging folks, and always tagging your location is a great way to do it as well. Tagging your local, maybe there's other local health department or health organizations or different things like that we can directly tag in our posts or hashtag in our posts to reach out to that audience as well and collaborate. If you're going to create a hashtag, just make sure it's simple, it's clear. Again, it's not already being used for some other purpose, and it's something that your community is going to recognize. So just keeping those things in mind, that if you do decide to create your own hashtag. And then again, just, ensure your photo goes along with your hashtag. Don't, sometimes in the past, 9 Health Fair hasn't always been good about that, right? We'll put random little hashtags because in general, 9 Health Fair had done a bunch of things. But, when we're talking about a specific event, making sure that those hashtags are are relating directly to the event is helpful. And this is just, you know, some examples like this one, like all of this really goes in with the sunflower, right? So just, you know, thinking of that, and obviously these don't really have a lot to do with the health fair, but it's just, you know, a good example of different ways that you can do it. And since we will have, you know, flu shots and the vaccines at the events, like you can, you know, hashtag those in like Pfizer 12 and up. You know, I think Pfizer will be the main one that'll be at all of them, but, you know, there might be an occasional fair that has Johnson & Johnson and Moderna, but, you know, in general, everyone 12 and up can come and get it. And I think even like one of our fairs is incorporating a vaccine event into their fair, which is kind of cool. So I have developed some sample Facebook posts, both for recruiting volunteers and for recruiting participants. And the one for recruiting participants is actually already in the updated toolkit in the volunteer management system under the Publicity tools. So there is some updated email copy in there, some updating messaging suggestions for recruiting your volunteers. And I will have the participant toolkit updated very soon, if not this week, then early next week. So you can find the social media posts in that toolkit as well, is where I was going with that. So you can see here again where, you know, we're talking about celebrating our health. You know, I'm going to sound like a broken record on this, but the more we can say it, the better it's going to solidify it in folks' mind. Because, you know, oftentimes going and getting screenings, going to a doctor, it's not fun. It's just not. I went to the doctor for the first time in like 3 years to get a physical. So I am like the problem of the audience that we're trying to recruit, right? So the more you can talk about the fun and ease of it, it's just going to land better on your audience, whether they're my age or whether they're 65. So just the easier we can make it seem, the better, especially with all the safety concerns and the COVID variants and things like that. The more we can put people at ease, I think is for the best. So we do have mask requirements, like I said, and then tagging 9Health 365 in all of our posts. We have changed all of our, we changed Facebook and Instagram to 9Health 365. Twitter is 9Health, and I believe LinkedIn's still 9Health Fair, but you can't tag us on LinkedIn anyway. So just remember, tag 9Health 365. And I just want to stress this for, you know, you, Hannah, and everyone that's going to be listening to this recording. Please, 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 if you get nothing else out of this webinar, please tag us in your posts. And it's not just like, you know, oh, we want to check in to see if you're doing it. You know, we want to share. We want to, you know, hit share on every single thing you do to just like magnify your platform and your audience. So, you know, in the past, we've had to go digging, right? Fair sites will post things, they won't tag us, but we still want to share it. So we're spending a lot of our time digging, and that's just, it's not a good use of our time. We could be spending our time in many different ways to support our sites in other forms. So the easier you can make it for us and just tag our account, we will be eternally grateful, and we will show that gratitude by sharing all of your things. So I just, yeah, I've said it in the past, but folks don't do it. So. And this again is post for volunteers. Again, you'll find this in the toolkit. And I have our handle down here as well. It's pretty much the same information as recruiting for participants. All right, creating more excitement with the video. I would love Allison to chat about this for a second. She has a background in video, and I'm extremely jealous of that because I think it's cool. So if you want to chat about creating excitement with some video, Allison, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure. So video is really a great tool for engagement, and it's relatively easy to create videos just using your phone. So there are a couple different like apps that you can use to edit video from your phone. One is Canva, and then there's also iMovie if you have like an iPhone or just a Mac. That's really easy to edit.
And for folks, Canva spelled C-A-N-V-A and then .com.
Yeah, and just some things to keep in mind when you are filming video. You don't want to film anybody facing a window because it overexposes them. You want to make sure you're filming in a quiet place if someone is going to be talking. Yeah, and then just keep it short and sweet. You can use video for testimonials really easy, for shooting some behind the scenes of how you're getting ready for the fair, all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, video is a really great and easy tool for sure.
Definitely. And I think, you know, if sites have videos from last year that they can utilize, that's great. Or even in the planning process, if you want to get your volunteer leaders together and create like a cute little video. 'Cause I'm even thinking like, you know, and just sometimes my creativity just busts out and it's not always very practical, but in my head, I'm thinking, you know, you can have a volunteer leader team and then one person that just like says for the health of it. And then other people, and it's going from person to person. It's like, you know, why get your blood pressure checked? And someone comes in like for the health of it. And then, you know, all of that. So take that or leave it, you know, that's just a random idea that just now popped into my head. So I figured I would share, but please, yeah, definitely create video. Oftentimes our posts on our own social media sites, I'm always getting notifications that, hey, your post is doing really well. It's almost always a video, whether it's a little like 2-second GIF or whatever, like videos just perform better. They get clicked on more, they get taken in more. So I can't stress enough that videos can be super helpful when you're both recruiting volunteers and your participants. So just a helpful little tidbit. And then again, using your existing resources. So we've gone into this a little bit in this webinar already. So we've talked about newsletters, maybe, you know, your organization or someone else has an active blog that you're already in touch with. Write a guest blog for them. Again, internal email lists, we've already talked about this. Your own community network. I can't stress Nextdoor enough. That app is great. And it's already centralized right to your own neighborhood, to your area. So, you know, if you can get your volunteers, and especially if you want to, and just get them into what you're doing, fold them into the process, give them little snippets that they can share on their own Nextdoor to really get out the word. Again, whether it's for volunteers or participants, these strategies can be used. So don't be afraid to do that word of mouth and those local apps for community networking. Additionally, a lot, you know, not just our organization, but a lot of other organizations have created new partnerships during the pandemic, right? New ways to make sure folks are getting access to the resources they need and vaccines they need and testing they need and all of that. So the more we can tap into those new partnerships as well, it'll just help build our base for not only this year, but for future years as well, to make your fair a success year after year. If we're building those, building upon those new partnerships as soon as possible, it'll just help solidify that for future events. So definitely don't be, and then if you need help, like understanding like different other community organizations you can reach out to, again, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are more than willing to help you find those groups as well. But I think that registered neighborhood organization thing on the county's website is going to be a great resource. I jumped for joy when I saw it, you guys. Like seriously, I was so excited. So please use it. I think it's going to be great. And so yeah, we're in this together. Like I've been saying, we are here as a resource, and I will be lightly nudging folks with some great publicity emails just to keep folks on track with what we should be doing. You know, timing that we really should be, you know, I'm actually going to try to get folks to canvass this year, canvass their neighborhoods, canvass their businesses, canvass local festivals and things like that. So in the next webinar, I'll have more information about that. And I'll also put that in some of these publicity nudges. So, you know, when to put up your banner, when to put out your coming soon signs, different things like that. We're going to help keep you updated, keep you on track, because I know you all are volunteers, right? This isn't your job. You're doing this out of the kindness of your heart and the fact that you care about your community's health. So the more we can help each other keep on track and the more we can help get out the word, I think is for the best. So folks will be getting those publicity nudges from me, and it'll be timing based on your particular fair date. So not everyone's going to get the same email at the same time. It will be customized to where you are in the process of publicizing your own fair. So just keep in mind for that. And because we did, just so folks know as well, because we did change all of our emails from 9 Health Fair to 9 Health 365, some of our mass emails are getting stuck in folks' spam. So, or the spam folder. So if you or your team, or you're hearing it from volunteers or participants, making sure to let them know that they should go in there and select 9 Health 365 as a safe sender. That way, all of those emails will continue to go to their inbox. I just want to make sure, because I would hate to send all these publicity emails and then folks not see it in their inbox. So if you're not seeing it and it's getting close to your fair, either reach out to me and be like, Kristen, what the heck? Or just look in your spam because it might be there. And again, so obviously, Hannah, you are a publicity coordinator, right? So that's great. So you have already been designated, but some of our other teams, I don't want the site leaders to feel that they have to do this all by themselves. You know, nothing happens in the silo, and it's so important. I mean, you have a team of leaders around you, you know, whether it's, you know, your kid or, you know, a college kid or, you know, whoever, they just honestly have to have excitement about it and a little bit of passion, and we can go from there. So, you know, whoever you can tap into in your community, in your teams, in your networks, find help to help you publicize these fairs. It should not all be on site leaders. So just keep that in mind. And thank you, Hannah, for doing what you're doing with Karen. That's great, because again, no one can do it by themselves, and it would be hard to ask someone to do that. So our next publicity webinar, September 9th. It's a Thursday. It's a little sooner cadence than last fall's, and that's just because, you know, we have 2 sites on the 25th of September. So I really want to make sure that we can get going and folks feel comfortable and where they are in the process of publicizing their fair. So Thursday, September 9th, that one's in the evening. Maybe that will work better for some folks' schedule. Maybe more folks will jump on, or maybe folks just want to watch the recording, and that's okay too. So yeah, the link will come. Be on the lookout for an email either from myself or from Edith Thompson, and we will get that information to you along with the recording of this webinar and updates on when I get the press release in there as well. So that is that. I have our emails in here listed for myself and Allison. Hannah, it's just you and us left. So do you have any other questions or anything that we can clear up for you, or anything at all? We have time.
I think my main thought was the like targeted flyer that you were talking about. What is the timeline for that portion? Just because I'd like to use that to send it out since we're new. I don't know. Like, I feel like some folks have done a 9 Health Fair before, so they're relying on that. Less so over here, right? It's more of a like, how can we convince families of our students and our students that this is a good idea and a good fit for them?
Absolutely.
So I'm looking for that. It's like maybe a little more specific materials than some of what I've seen, or am I misguided? Tell me what to do.
Absolutely. So yes, I will have a site specific one. And if there is language, like for instance, because your audience that you're tapping into is more families, students related. So I might actually take a different lens on yours, and I might use some different language. So let me write myself a note, because if I don't write myself notes, then I will never remember them.
You and me both.
It's a struggle, right? And I got my little froggy post-it notepad here, so it's great. Family and students. Perfect. So I'll put a little bit different language in yours, but it'll be essentially the same. We'll have a list of the paid screenings on there that folks can take advantage of. I'll be sure to add on there that if they're under 18, unfortunately, they can't take advantage of our blood screenings, but there's plenty of other things to do. I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, your fair is holding a basic fair, right? So you're doing the paid screenings and then height, weight, BMI, maybe ask a medical question, blood pressure.
They were going to post to the other positions and see if we got volunteers, and then if so, offer additional screenings, and if not, not. So
okay, cool. So I'll put that on there. Additional screenings may be offered. So yeah, it's basically going to be, you know, just the basic information of your fair, time, address, date, all of that. It'll just have messaging about celebrating your health. It'll have all of the paid screenings listed with the prices. It'll have information saying that we are certified by the Colorado Medical Association, the Nurses Association. So we're going to have all of that stuff on there to make sure
Okay.
folks know that this is reputable. This is something that they can trust. Quest Diagnostics logo will be on there as well as Safeway Albertsons. And I will also include information on there about the flu shots and the fact that they're free, and we will have vouchers as well. And we're actually hopefully getting a new grant to maybe even extend the number of flu shots and vouchers that we can give. So cross your fingers, hopefully that comes through. But either way, we always have 1,000 total shots and vouchers across our fairs. So we have 16 this year, so I think it's going to go far. But I think there is a new invigoration, right, for vaccines. So, maybe we will get that extra money and we can do 2,000 shots instead, which would be very exciting. So is there anything else that you were thinking that you would like to make sure is on your particular site flyer?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll think on it, but I will have those done by Thursday evening, maybe Friday morning. But so just keep a lookout there, and then I'll have all of the sites. You can just click on your site name, and that's how you're going to download your flyer. And I'll be sure to, because I assume you want to share it on social media in addition to printing them out.
Yep.
Perfect. So I'll put them for all the sites. I'll put them in both forms, just like I did the general flyers. And you can feel free to use those to recruit your volunteers already. Of course, the Find a Fair isn't live yet, so we don't want to use that quite yet, but you can do the coming soon. Is there anything else that you might find helpful, or any kind of information, maybe something's not clear or lining up? Because I know you guys are a new site, so any information I can provide, and it doesn't even have to be right now in this forum, but if you have questions as you're getting into it, as you're looking through all of our files, there are some public service announcement excerpts, 15 and 30 seconds. So if you're looking for radio, or maybe like an announcement that you're going to put in, or maybe that's a script for your video, right? So those are in there as well. So if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out, and we can answer those questions for you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate you both.
Absolutely. So I think we will end there. Thank you, Hannah, for joining us. And I hope everyone who is watching this recording later got what they needed out of it. And again, just again, please feel free to reach out to me at my email, and I will respond. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day.